Right, so this is We Crown You by Jeremy Riddle in the key of B major. It's usually around 49 BPM, I think originally, but we usually speed it up a bit when we play it live. I think to like 70, 73 or 74. But anyways, this is like basically the tutorial side of it. I have I think another video of just doing a playthrough in a different key. Um, but I'll talk through the parts more specifically in B major and then do a playthrough at the end. And this is what I'd play if I was the only lead guitar player. I say that a lot, but usually that's the case. There is, sometimes a rhythm guitar player is playing more acoustic type stuff just on an electric. But in terms of guitarists that are specifically playing parts or lead parts in the song, I'm usually the only one. So I try to just merge the main parts of the song into the ability for one guitar player to do them all. So that's my approach with this song and with most. To start it out, I do come in on the intro. So I'm doing that lead line, which since we're in B, I'm usually hovering around this D shape in the key of B. So that's the 11th and 12th frets on the low 3 strings. And so the intro starts on the 12th fret of the B string. You hammer on to the 4th, and then go to the 11th fret on the E, and do like that minor shape. So E11, B12, G13. And then it's 14, 12, 11 on the B. You usually do it twice. The verse is the same thing. So verse 1, you're starting the same way, and then doing the same thing. Do it again. But on this second time, you don't go all the way down. You actually go back up. So it's back up to the 14th fret. And then this part changes a little bit. You do 12, 14, 11, 12, 11. And then the same thing. Again. That's the whole verse. And then chorus 1, we're doing like these diamonds, which I'll kind of show you the shapes for that. Tone wise, on this like very light, kind of like a little bit of tremolo on there, but very low gain with some additional reverb and standard delay, up until I believe the turn. So after chorus 1, then I just changed it a little bit, add a little more gain. So for chorus 1, those diamonds, the shapes you're doing, the first one is the 13th fret on the G string, the 12th on the B, and 14th on the E. So you're kind of just hitting it like this, just strumming down. And then the next one, you keep the bottom 2 fingers the same, or those notes stay the same, but you might have to move or adjust your fingers. And you add in the 11th fret on the G string. And then you're sliding up for the minor on the 16th fret with all 3 strings. So I usually bar it with my pointer finger. And then you're doing that same shape. Same shape as the first one, but just on the 15th, 14th, and 16th frets. And you do it again, slide down. Do that twice, and then you go back into the intro. But for this, I add just a little more gain here. And I usually add either like strumming this diamond, or just adding in a little to accent it a little bit. And then same thing. Same thing all the way up until verse 2. And then verse 2, I do have a little bit of a different tone, but it's basically the same. And I'm doing the same idea to start, but I'm adding in a little bit of like these note plucking, like pedaling things. So it sounds like this, and then I'll explain it. So basically, after doing that intro part, I'm starting here, so on the 13th fret of the G string, and then going to the 12th on the B, 14th on the B as well, then 11th on the E, and then just going backwards. So and then I just do the same parts like verse 1 as normal. So I'm just adding in those like plucking notes. For when it changes and you go higher, it's the same thing, you're just adding in those same notes. And yeah, that leads you into the second chorus. And so the second chorus, I do the same diamonds, I'm just adding in some notes in between. So, and then also, it's a bit bigger of like a gain stage. So you do that first diamond, and then you hit the bottom note. So it's 14th on the E to 11, and then 14th on the B. Then you do the next shape. The shapes are the same. Same thing. And then for the minor, when you slide up here, you do that note. And then the 14th on the E to the 16th on the B. And then the next shape. So that's 14th on the E and B. And that's it. So you'll kind of hear that all the way through. It's the same diamonds again, just adding those notes in between. Pretty simple once you get it. The shapes are very familiar. And then that goes into like a bit of an instrumental going to the bridge. So the instrumental, I come in like right after the chorus ends, I come in with the instrumental and then go out for the first bridge and then come back in, just to give it a little bit of dynamic variation. So I start after we're doing the end of the chorus there. Then I'm starting with this 11th and 13th fret on the G. It's a bit of like a hammer-on. And then so that's the 12th and 11th on the B string. And that's the gist of it pretty much the whole time. There's two different ways to do this actually. You can follow, you'll notice in the playthrough the vocals, like the way Jeremy Riddle sings it, it's the melody more so goes like this. Or it's like, it's quicker. But when I'm playing it live, I usually follow kind of like on the notes of the tempo. So it's, I don't know how you would describe that difference, but yeah, I just kind of play it like that. The piano usually follows that progression, and then the vocals are the ones to kind of follow that. And it gives a little variation there. Just, I guess, be mindful of that if you're playing it like this and it just sounds off because whoever's singing is doing it like the track, then maybe just follow them. That's kind of why I say that, just because we've run into that before. But that's basically it. And then it kind of just goes into like, there's two different versions to end that phrase. So it's either and I'm following like the vocal melody, so that's one way, or so let's see. right there. So it's either pedaling on the 11th fret of the G, going up to the 13th and then the 11th on the B, or it goes from the 11th on the B to the 12th to the 14th. And I usually end it right before we go into the chorus on the 12th, since it's ending on the 1. So you'll hear the variations there. It's really simple, and I'm always just staying in that same area. But you kind of just like follow the vocal melody with that. You go into another big chorus. It's the same thing, and then usually we'll reprise the bridge at the end. And if you do, you can play it in the same place. Or if you wanted to, you could slide down to the 7th fret on the B and do it there. If you want to just have some variation or have it sound clear, you could even do it on the E, I think. Yeah. So that's an option. Another thing I sometimes do is add an octave pedal on that reprise. So it kind of sounds like this. Just to give it variation, and it just sounds cool. So anyways, that's pretty much all the parts. So I'll play it all the way through just so you can hear everything all together. And yeah, hope you enjoy.
A crown of thorns to the one is a torment.